Okay, guys, so continuing my Hasbro Q&A blitz from TFW that they dropped a week and a half ago. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a couple more questions and answers that were brought up here. So without further ado, sit on back, grab a snack, and listen to me read this, ramble, and speculate and talk as always. So TFW asks here, can you tell us what you think stands out in terms of the new Seeker design versus the Earthrise one? Now, at first glance, this does seem like an obvious answer, and that was kind of my response when I first read this in my video covering the interview as a whole a week and a half ago. But, there's some interesting things to kind of talk about here and like recover and go over with this new Seeker mold. So Evan from Hasbro says, oh, certainly. So I will say Yuki-san had a lot of priorities that he wanted to bring into this because his goal was to make a mini masterpiece, and I do think he succeeded. It has an opening cockpit, it has landing gear, the transformation is incredibly smooth, the proportions have also been changed quite a bit so that he matches his animation counterpart, and I think he just stands out a lot more. We also have included a lot more articulation, hands, waist swivel, things like that. And I think one is just a very fun figure to play with. So I can't wait for folks to get him into their hands and all the various flavors we're going to be releasing in every color in the rainbow. So a couple things to go over in this answer here. Mini masterpiece. This has been a topic and a thing that's been going on in the Generations main line for about 4 years now, I'd say, especially since the 86 line started. You got Hot Rod, 86 Optimus, Grimlock, Magnus, basically being mini masterpiece figures, Cyclonus, probably a few others I'm forgetting. So this whole thing, I know there's people in the fandom that hate this and think that masterpiece type figures should stay in masterpiece. And honestly, I do kind of agree in some aspects, but in a lot of ways, you gotta think, Generations is what holds the Transformers toy lines together, basically. That in Studio Series Generations. Like, that is the bread and butter for a lot of collectors. So, I totally get why Hasbro and Takara the last few years have been trying to make more affordable, smaller, masterpiece-styled figures in a way, and I do think it's a good idea, but I do, kind of wish that certain aspects did kind of stay with the masterpiece line, because it is supposed to be special. It's supposed to be, it's called masterpiece. It's supposed to be that one-on-one special toy line for collectors to delve into and get premium product. So I do understand both aspects, but I'm leaning more in the middle of, I like mini masterpiece stuff. And the cockpit, landing gear, the transformation, the proportions, all of that does look really incredibly well done. It looks so much better than that stupid Earthrise mold. And sometimes I see people defending the Earthrise mold and saying that they don't see a problem with it, and they say that the Earthrise one is still better in their eyes. And I mean, you could have the opinion you want to have, but bro, I don't know what eyes you got. I don't know if you need new glasses or if you need glasses in general. Stop going to the main outlet eyeglass stores and go to a local one. I don't know what to tell you. Like, go to a local eye doctor. Like, man, it's night and day in my opinion. Like, this figure is amazing looking. It blows the Earthrise one straight out of the water. And when he says hands, is there a clamp, like a hinge in there for hand articulation, or does he just mean wrist swivel? Because the Earthrise figure didn't have wrist swivel, so I'm thinking he just means that they added wrist swivel to this mold. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments, guys. Does this new Seeker mold have a hand joint? That would be crazy if it did, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it didn't, because it already seems like they put a lot into that figure. The landing gear, the opening cockpit, that is incredible. And features that I really do feel like should be on every Jet Transformer figure, but it's just not. Things happen, whatever. Again, I think this blows the Earthrise one out of the water. And the last question that I wanted to cover here is, can you comment at all on the Omega Prime QC situation or how it'll affect future Haslabs like Lyle Kaiser? And Evan says, it definitely was a learning experience. I guess all I could really say about that is if you experience any issues, please reach out to Hasbro Consumer Care and they will take care of you. And then follow-up question here. TFW asks, do you think there might be a time limit for that? And Evan says, I believe there is a time limit listed on the website right now, but I do not know that off the top of my head. Right off the bat, I tried to look on Hasbro Pulse to see if there's a time limit for this Omega Prime thing. And I don't know if I didn't just look hard enough, because I looked for a few minutes and then I just got off Hasbro Pulse and went to go do something else. So I didn't find a time limit for this. So I don't know. I'm sure you still got time to call and complain and get your order fixed. But I'm sure you can't call like 4 years from now and say, "Oh, my Omega Prime is messed up." But I'm sure you still have time, like another 6 months maybe or so. But this whole thing in general was a big, huge mess. I'm going to give you guys more of an insight to what I was thinking a couple months ago on this. Because, I looked back a few days ago in hindsight on some things and how I was at the time. And man, Omega Prime was my most hyped up Transformers release of the year for me. It was the first Haslab I backed outright and I didn't get on the secondary market. So you could tell me as a hardcore Transformers collector, I was super pumped for this. And right when people started getting their copies in, March or April, and the reports started to come in on widespread issues on both figures, I lost it. Like, my heart freaking sank with this release. Because it's like, how do you mess up a combining Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus 2-pack Haslab that I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong on this, guys, but I'm pretty sure it's the highest selling backed Haslab release yet. Just the whole thing was mind-boggling how they screwed up this bad on so many QC issues on this release. And I'm looking back and I sold my copy. I didn't even mess around with it. Like, when it arrived, I sold it right away, basically. And I basically just said, screw Hasbro Transformers for a little bit. And I started going back to Marvel Legends, collecting that, doing photography on that for like a month and a half or so. And just recently, a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what, let me go back to Transformers, getting a few Hasbro figures. I'm more so a third-party guy at this point, and Masterpiece figures, because third party's been killing it with Beast Wars and some Unicron Trilogy stuff. And I just don't need a ton of these Hasbro characters that they're making. Like, wake me up when they do a new Armada Cyclonus and Demolisher. Wake me up when they do with some more obscure Beast Wars toy-only characters. And, I do want to kind of get the Primes. I do want to get Wasp and Armada Red Alert. Like, I'll get stuff that's not made by third party or Masterpiece, depending on the character and if I care about it or not. But overall, my collection mainly isn't Hasbro stuff anymore. This release really made me double think my collection and where I'm going with Hasbro figures. I'm still getting Hasbro figures. They do a great job with a lot of stuff, and their character selection still is the best at this point. But, if it's made in third party, I would prefer to get that figure instead. That's just what I'm feeling right now. And, this whole thing, I just hope that this doesn't happen with any Haslab going forward, because there were issues with Victory Saber. I can't remember if there were issues with Death Source or Unicron, so this isn't new for Transformers Haslabs, which is quite pathetic. And it's not new for Haslab in general. There were issues with that Giant Man Haslab a while back. So they just got to fix their QC. I don't know what's going on over at their factories. It's ridiculous. Like, something that's such a limited special release that people are spending their hard-earned money and backing should not have this many issues and insane issues like this, But, yeah, guys, I don't want to ramble on too much longer. Let me know down in the comments below. How do y'all feel about the new SS86 Seeker mold? And how do you guys feel about the Omega Prime situation a few months later? And have you guys been able to get a fixed copy or whatever from Hasbro if you did back this release? And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!